doing a lot of misses.
Okay, getting into the scrim here. Focusing on Krill Bill. Vanilla Rapid Pro. Heavy Nzap Custom Blaster. Looking at the builds, I'm instantly kind of confused by the Rapid Pro build of Comeback and QR, but we can talk about that later. So starting fights and tower control here. Overall, I kind of like the starting positions. I think the heavy should have stayed up high on sniper a little bit more. But again, I'll have plenty of games to kind of look at this type of stuff. So far this is a good defense, but no one's actually going up to the snipe. Like, someone should be up here on your guys' snipe right now. Especially when the spinner's up, because this gives you really good access point to the tower. So this is like a really good spot for the heavy to try to get into, or even the Rapid Blaster Pro. And it prevents you, so you just got pressured by the ttek coming down here. Being up in snipe really helps try to prevent that. So I would use that position more. Right now you guys are kind of one by one funneling after the tower. I know it seems like that's the right thing to do, because it's like, oh, you gotta stop, get it, yeah, I gotta stop him. You really need to wait for your team, otherwise you just start funneling in one by one and getting picked off and end up never getting any control. So the Nzap gets one. You guys really need to get this ttek out of here. I know you guys are listening, you're making the callouts. So Nzap comes back. Oh, this ttek is unfortunately just having a very good game. So right now, I know you guys keep focusing on the tower, but your number one priority should be getting that ttek out of there, and that's the reason why. Like, the ttek just never was forced to leave your guys' spawn, which allowed the push to just keep going on. Like, even if you killed the other three members, the ttek being in your spawn means that people have to be dealing with him, right? So it makes it so you guys can never fully focus on getting map control. What other things did I see? So again, snipe, especially on this map. Snipe on Sturgeon is huge. You want to use it. Build wise, the Vanilla Rapid Pro theoretically is long range and won't be dying that much. So having QR and comeback on seems rather counterintuitive. I play a ton of Rapid Pro myself on Deep Blues, and I haven't really ever seen anyone use QR comeback builds for that weapon. I think I just use mostly a bunch of swim speed and then just some special charge up as like the key components of it. Some people run stealth jump. And then, you know, I run a little bit of special saver, and so and quick super jump, that's the other key component of it. So I'd maybe give that a try. Assuming, you know, you have this stuff, I think it's worthwhile using. What else did I see? Again, one simple thing that a lot of teams can do that they don't to help get better is waiting for each other coming out of spawn. You want to not just, like, you know, just sit and spawn. You want to move forward, but into a position that's like absolutely safe, and waiting for your other teammates to come out of spawn to approach the objective together. It's almost 100% always better to do it that way. Alright, so still running the comeback, but running run speed. I can understand using run speed for some situations on Rainmaker, especially on this map. ttek on your guys' team has a main of ink recovery. I generally wouldn't really consider doing that. If we're gonna, like, all this is considered like top tier meta, right? Like, you know, top I'm talking like Japanese meta, top NA meta, top EU meta in terms of loadouts. So I wouldn't really use that. Nzap is fairly standard from what I can see from just the mains. The Tri-Slosher makes sense. So let's see what's actually going on. So you guys got some top control here, which is good. On this map specifically, Rainmaker variation of it, you want control of both like the top and a little bit like a bit of pressure down low. Unfortunately, you guys are kind of like spread out. Like, get the pop, or at least the Rainmaker was popped. And then while one member up top was getting flanked, the other member dropped down and went to go grab the Rainmaker. Especially since you guys had already just gone 2 down, like you really need to try to stick together and like be doing things together. Ooh, that was unfortunate death. Okay. So right here, Turbo drops down to try to get a kill, but if he had instead gone back here and intercepted them this way, he could have been in front of the Rainmaker and actually slowed the Rainmaker down for their push. It gets stopped either way, but that's one thing to think about is, especially on a weapon like a Tri-Slosher, if you don't get those 2 hits, the Rainmaker's going to be swimming faster than you can like get to it. So, something to kind of keep in mind. Again, you guys kind of have this good setup where you got some people up high, some people down low. Generally speaking, I like to bring the Rainmaker up high on this map, but it can move faster down low. So Lucas is, as a Rapid Blaster, I think it's, you know, he recognizes that he wants to try to get up top, but by doing so actually leaves the Rainmaker alone. So I don't know if that was being communicated that he's going to go to the left, and also, you know, the rest of the team goes down while he makes that move. So I think he had the right idea, but he needs to, or there needed to be some sort of communication or effort to go with him to try to make it so that worked out better. Good defense overall. While seemingly a strong push, 20 on this map is actually pretty deceptive, especially if you can bring it up high and get it over on this top right. If you can get it right here and have the Rainmaker sit on this side of their map, up in the top mid right here, and just like shoot it over the cross while your teammates push up, it is really strong and basically require specials to stop it. So again, we got 2 people down low. We got a Rainmaker. Turbo went really deep in right there, and there was only essentially 2 of you guys up. It's basically you going to go try to find a fight while not having a man advantage, and that is something you never want to do. Yeah, it's much better to sit back and stay alive, and then wait for your teammates to respawn and group up than it is to like try to go get a pick to make the numbers even. Some good teamwork there. All right, so they're 3 down. So this is now this is on Rainmaker especially. This is where you want to be holding forward and just like taking up as much map of the pop as possible. Unfortunately, the last guy alive was able to kind of shark and stay hidden for a bit, but because he went directly for the Rainmaker, there's an opportunity here. Nice. Okay, full wipe. So there should be jumps coming in. Yeah. Okay. So there's the jumps. The Nzap, your guys' Nzap went a little bit too aggressive there. You should want to again like wait a little bit, but the idea was fine. Someone needs to try to get in front of the Rainmaker, but sometimes that happens. You guys are doing a good job of getting picks right now. So they're doing exactly what you guys did last game. They're just funneling. They're just like tunneling on the Rainmaker player rather than actually getting any sort of map control. It ends up working out for them, mainly because you guys were staggered with your jumps. But if he had lost this 1v1 right here, you guys potentially could have gotten a lead right off of that. I like your guys' approach to this map a lot better than the last one. There definitely, I think there just needs to be a little bit more communication about where you want to take the Rainmaker up. I don't think you guys took the Rainmaker up high once, and it is really strong to do so. on this map. So I would try to do that more. Yeah, I think that's kind of like the biggest like kind of recap thing for that map. Additionally, like, again, always want to be pushing together, and especially on modes like Tower Control and Rainmaker, you want to have teammates ahead of the objective, or basically in front of the objective. So what does that mean? Well, you always want to have your teammates, at least 2, in front of the Rainmaker as the Rainmaker is moving forward, right? Like the Rainmaker Rainmaker player should never be the one that meets an enemy first. Obviously, when you're getting close to like the goal, or you just gotta hold forward to go for points, like, you know, there's gonna be times to do that. But generally speaking, that's how you kind of want to position it. On a map like Schellendorf, especially getting up high makes that really easy, because the Rainmaker, you know, there's nowhere to swim, right? So the Rainmaker can just take free shots with unlimited ink, so that's really nice. That's part of the reason why going up top is so strong. It has an inherently even playing field. Yeah, I would consider doing that more in the future. I'm gonna do one more game without comms, and then I'm probably gonna listen to comms for a game or two. Alright, I'm not gonna focus on builds this time. I want to focus on your guys' starts, especially for Clan Blitz. Starts on Clan Blitz can be really, really important. Bubbles and baller armor, pretty good. All good stuff on Clan Blitz. Start here is a little bit risky. The enperries went really deep, but it ends up coming back, so that's okay. I do kind of like this nice spread out start. It kind of helps just to kind of establish some various important positions on this map. You want to at least apply some pressure here on the left, mainly because it is a avenue that the enemy teams can use to approach. The biggest thing, obviously, is making sure you guys hold your right bump, which you guys did. So that's good. Using the baller to go in here. So I like the idea of using the baller to go in, but no one else went in with you. Everyone's kind of hanging back, and to make a play like that is you're required to like go in as a team, because they're all going to be running away from the baller or looking at the baller. That's when you want to go in from the sides around them, get the easy pickoffs as they're distracted by the baller. The Forge Pro popped their bubbles here to stay alive in a 1v2 and ended up dying anyway. And bubbles are really, really important special on this mode. So just take the death. Like, just either try to jump out or take the death. I know it sucks because you're going to be losing some of your meter, but you just used up all of your meter anyway. So now you're respawning with 0 meter rather than at least half, right? So sometimes it's better just to take the death rather than like using a panic special on Clan Blitz especially. Alright, so you got 1 power climb, you just picked off 2 people. And you just like regroup. Like, there's no need to hold forward, right? You guys have a lot of clams, you guys have a lot of control. Get your specials, make a coordinated push. Like what right here, using those bubbles. Again, I would have waited just a little bit longer. Nice. So okay, I also would have waited longer for the baller, because the baller, you can jump to the baller player for safe jumps, as I'm sure you guys know. Overall, good, but like if you would have gotten that first power climb in after getting 1 guy off the bubbles, pop the baller and let your teammates jump to the baller for the free jump in. You guys could have had, you know, you guys I think could have gotten 2 more power climbs in, which would have been a huge, nice early first push. So again, try to stay calm in the heat of the moment of the fights and think about what actually needs to be done. It doesn't look like you guys are aware that the brush is in your base. Now you are, and you guys deal with them. That's okay. Happens. Brushes can do that. You dealt with it well. The issue here is that the other 2 teammates are like focused on scoring when you guys weren't really in position. Again, it's so important to be coordinated as a team, and Clan Blitz really shows that. You know, even if 2 people move forward and open up the basket and get some clams in, and even let's say that they get like 2 kills, right? In a 2v4 situation, which is like one of the better things you can hope out of it. what's the point if the if your other teammates can't come in and throw more clams? And that's actually not really going to do anything other than give the other team a power clam when the basket comes back. So it's much better to make a coordinated push as a team. Again, bubbles being popped to establish some control, but it doesn't really look like you guys are kind of pushing forward. But it just seems like there's kind of this lack of overall grouping and moving forward. It's like, okay, we're making this push, like go, move, like focus this guy. Okay, this guy, now get this guy, type of thing. The baller coming in, really want to see some jumps. Again, well, there's one jump, so that works. Okay, good. So that's good. I like that. Even if there's no follow up beyond that, that's still pretty good. Nzap tried to do some flank stuff. A little bit late on it. I like the idea, but a little bit late on it. Luke, yeah, like. So yeah, as you can see, 1, the timing was off here. 2, you're popping bubbles to make a solo push that is only going to isn't actually going to add any points on the board for you guys. While the other team was already pushing, those bubbles could have been used to like stop the enemy push, and that would have been a much better use. You honestly think about clamlets much like how you would think about splat zones, right? Like you want to control the center of the map, obviously, and that part's pretty, pretty self-explanatory. But what you really do in zones when you have control is you control the center of the map, and then you kind of move forward of the zone to slow down the other team, right? And you just want to paint around. You want to prevent them from moving forward. That's exactly the same thing you want to do in clamlets, because the thing is, 1, obviously controlling the map, you see the clam spawn. It makes it easier for you guys to collect clams and build footballs up, power clams up to, score points. But it also prevents the other team from getting towards your basket. So popping specials to like get 1 power clam in, or like to just to survive. Really, what you're doing is, if you think about that in the context of splat zones, is you're using a special that could be used to prevent them from getting back to the objective, and instead you're just doing it to try to survive for a couple seconds longer, right? If you think about that, of what would happen if you did that in splat zones, you would just, you might get a trade, but that's it. Like, you just used your specials. Now they can use their specials and take back the map, right? I guess that's what good teams are going to do against you guys. So I would really kind of really sit down and think about what your team strategies need to be. Clam Blitz is definitely the mode that requires the most coordination in terms of getting good pushes. So I would highly suggest taking a look at that. Alright, getting into the next game here. Let's make them art. What I'm looking for here, especially on splat zones, is you want to have at least 1 or 2 people on your left, and the 1 or 2 people on the kind of like on the right, controlling those what we call boxes, or top left or top right, is really important. Definitely want to try to pressure those at the start. So that's what I'm looking to see. I'm going to listen to comms for this one too.
I might go down to breakfast and just watch us for flanks.
Okay.
Also some ttek.
There's 1 left.
So, 1 person going up here is good.
Boss is behind zone.
Okay, 3 down.
Okay.
The other Loss is very injured.
See, there's 3 down, but there was no call out about where the last guy was actually at. So again, you really want to be trying to, like, if there's 3 down situation, go after the last guy. Like, take him out of the game. Like, don't let them have an avenue back in, especially when you guys were all up.
The ball on the phone and keep it on jet.
I killed 2.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
Fluff your right down.
So Luke just said he kills two,
Alright,
right?
so-
But like
Should be able to stop zone.
he doesn't say anything until after the fact. I know it's a really bad habit to get into is making callouts like after you've already died. But like say like, oh, I'm fighting two on the left, like I need help, like come help type of thing, like stuff like that. It may seem really difficult to do at first, like when you're focusing on a fight. But if you can work your way through that initial difficulty, it helps out a lot. We got some good teamwork going on over here.
Oh, Slusher got me easily.
But again, like you guys are like working together, but like because there's no communication of like, okay, I'm pushing forward, like he's weak, help, stuff like that. They're, you know, you guys get the initial pick, and then Luke is like, okay, I'm gonna look to the right when there was more people shooting at Turbo over here. So again, it just shows like a different. Everyone has a different priority when they're playing.
10 seconds.
Yeah. Good knockout.
Real quick again. So everyone on their weapons has a different priority and a different thing that's going through their mind as they're playing, right? They're thinking, oh, I picked a guy over here and I have to look over here, or I gotta look at this thing, or I gotta go do this. And when you have 4 different people doing that, things are gonna get chaotic really fast, and that's where communication comes in. So I always have the saying of that there's callouts and then there's communication. And basically what I was hearing there is callouts and not communication. And the difference there is a callouts is like, oh, there's one left. Oh, I got 2. Oh, I died on the right. Stuff like that, right? Whereas communication is much more, all right, I have my armor. I'm going to be aggressive here. I'm pushing 2. I'm pushing on the right. There's 2 up here on me. I need help. I'm staying alive. I'm backing up. Okay, good. We got them. I'm going to now push into their spawn. Please help me. Stuff like that. Like when you communicate, there is a lot more information for both your team and for the objective, right? So it's not just about communicating around your own team, but it's how you guys communicate around the objective. Flat zones, it seems pretty simple, just like get picks and like win the game, right? But that's in an ideal scenario, right? You guys pretty much had control almost the entire game. What if you lose control when you're coming out of spawn and you have no control to work with? Like that's where communication is really, really important. And while a lot of teams struggle with not being able to retake the zone after they kind of go, like if you guys get like full wiped and you just lose all control, most teams really struggle with that. So again, that's kind of like a really big thing of mine is the teams that communicate better win way, way, way more often.
Yeah.
Oh, who knows? I'm not counting.
No, it's 2. I'm counting.
Oh,
Trust
good.
me.
Well, you're the one that normally updates the scrim channel.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's pretty great. And like, if we're having it recorded, you want some bad games and some good games. Like you want
Pushing
to
machine is under shadow.
1 odd zone. 2 odd zone.
Okay. So on this map, you guys have 2 kind of like backliners, the Dynamo and the Rapid Pro.
2 on the snipe.
It's kind of an interesting thing, especially on Mori, because at least how we play Mori, I think it's better to have kind of like 1 backliner with like 3 really aggressive people, because ultimately your objective is to take their snipe. Like their snipe is the biggest entry into the map. Like even when they have overlook, like that's just still something you want to take away from them. But like overlook doesn't give them access to like much of the map. It basically only gives them access to this area right here. Whereas snipe gives them access to this area, gives them access to this area, and gives them access to your zone over here, your old zone. So it's a huge, huge thing you want to be able to contest, and having just an Nzap and a Tri-Slasher to do that is going to really, really hamper your guys' abilities to control the map. Also, these weapons aren't the best at dealing with pressure when they're coming up to your snipe. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind.
I'm jumping back to Stingray.
So your Dynamo jumps out to avoid their Stingray. I think that's pretty good move overall, especially since the other team has a Stingray of their own.
One jumping in mid.
And there gets a nice pick. Nzap gets 2 nice picks. The one thing I'm noticing, actually, pretty much right off the bat, is Chich has been, or Chich, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly. Has been playing Nzap, and he's been consistently one of the most aggressive members on your team. I personally think it's much better to have your most aggressive member playing something like, especially if you're gonna be playing short-range shooters, to be playing like a ttek or something like that. It's having just a weapon that has like a 3-shot kill. It honestly makes a huge difference for your aggressive frontliners. Maybe that's something that you guys want to talk about. If there's a change that can be made there. Again, this is part of the reason why having 2 long range, it's like you have 3 people right next to each other, right? But you get pressured by 1 guy, and now already 2 of those 3 people have to back up, rather than like actually just like fighting and taking that guy out in a 3v1. So basically, that guy that ran into 3 of you guys should have been able to get punished, but didn't because of the weapon choices.
It's ours. He's jumped back into mid.
Alright, so they're making a push again, and so see this, I kind of liked that. The idea was that one person was going to rush the tower with a stingray, and that's good. Like, that's kind of using teamwork right there. The issue is that, unfortunately, Owsley was also flanking and kind of gets you a couple of calls to kind of ruin that idea. So I think the idea here was good. Just, you know, always try to be aware of your guys' snipe and flanks in that position. Just trying to stop the tower. You guys are kind of grouping up right here. So, you know, spread out. I think like getting right here and defending from right there is good, but maybe just spread out a little bit more to try to get some different angles. Again, getting control of snipes like the biggest thing. So like, ooh, unfortunate. I would maybe popped armor before climbing up the wall. Getting up in there is good. There needs to be some coordination with the rains. Like, one rainstorm's going this way, other one's going this way. And, like, what are you actually trying to accomplish with the storm, right? Like, when you throw a storm, what you should basically be doing is, like, I'm forcing the enemy to move out of these areas, right? Or the area where the storm's at. And both of those is kind of just like, okay, yes, like, the checkpoint's over here, but they're not going to defend the checkpoint on the checkpoint. They're going to defend the checkpoint from over here, or the high ground, stuff like that, right? Like, it's much better to think about what area of the map do I want to take control of, and that's where I'm going to throw my storm. So, for example, going back to the Ingstorms here, because there's kind of not a lot going on at the moment, I would have thrown one up into snipe and have 2 people push up into their snipe, while the other one is thrown over here. So that way, the people in the snipe, if they left this Inkstorm, they would have swam into another Inkstorm over here if they went down low, forcing them to go up high, which gives you their entire old zone area to push up, paint, and now you have a much better position to defend the tower during the first checkpoint. Because again, you want to try to be in front of the tower.
I'll be back in a sec, guys. I'm just going to say goodnight.
Cool. Well, you're hosting, so you decide when to go.
Okay.
Better let them know, actually.
Looks like we got some sort of host change going on. So what other stuff can I talk about happening?
I'll just let them know as well.
I think. Talk a little bit more about this whole callouts versus communication thing. So there was callouts about where people were at that last game, but because there was no communication, ultimately there was no idea of like, hey, let's get control of their snipe first before pushing it, like before, you know, we try to push the tower super far or anything like that, or I'm using my Inkstorm on their old zone, let's clear that out right now, type of thing.
So, Lo, do you want to play Nzap, or Are you
Coordination of specials is, I mean, as I'm sure you guys are aware of, like pretty much the pivotal point of this game. Similar to Overwatch, where you have a game where you have, you know, specials that you charge up that are super powerful when you use them together to make a push. The same thing can be said for Splatoon here, right? Like, you can obviously make moves without your specials through good teamwork and everything like that. But at the end of the day, specials are named special for a reason. Like, they're special tools that are powerful to use, and when you used well, they basically will absolutely win the games for you. So really want to try to coordinate those as well as possible, and callouts don't do that. Communication does. And it's not just like, oh, there's one to the right, I'm popping my special. It's like, okay, I have my special, do you guys have yours? Are we ready to make a push? Like, think about it as like communication can be both statements and questions, right? Like, oh, I have my special, how close are you guys? Okay, I'm using it, let's push now. Stuff like that. It gets this kind of flow of information going that allows for much better decisions to be made.
If they could do the scrim.
I'm gonna listen to one more game of comms here, and then I might focus on some individual gameplay too. So we got Manta Rainmaker here. Definitely, I like the discussion of going for pop. Basically, what I always do is I kind of just look at the team roster, and you know, if we have more bombs or we think we can pop it faster, we could make the call. But like at the start of every single Rainmaker game, I basically look at our comp and their comp, and I go, okay, can we beat them in the pop? And you gotta, you know, kind of make a judgment call.
Ttek's pushing me. Got ttek. 1 week, right back.
So there was a little bit of communication right there, of like two guys pushing me.
Jumping to Chich.
Right, like, so right there's like an idea of communication, but it could be something like, I'm getting two guys pushing me on the right, I need help.
I'll try paint.
Right.
Go.
That would have been even better.
Pop it.
But you guys are making a decent push right now.
2, got a double. 3 down.
Nice.
3 down.
Spot.
Pop it. There's one on top left.
He's weak. He's
Again, like, someone get in front of the Rainmaker. Like, obviously, like, shooting at this guy is important, but you guys had 4 members. Like, someone can easily should be shooting at this guy while 2 people drop, while the last guy picks up Rainmaker and move forward, right? Like, you could have knocked it out right there if you guys had done that, but since the Rainmaker grabbed it and went forward first, he met the enemy team first.
Rainmaker's coming right.
Got him.
Nice spot.
Defense-wise, Judulus is able to make a good stop.
Scream zone. Stingray. Oh, got me in our straight. It's 2 in our straight. Rella's near sponge.
They're all coming. Rainmaker's coming.
got Rainmaker.
So, again, like, part of the reason why they're able to get this push is because you guys are just kind of taking turns going directly for the Rainmaker, right?
Got one.
Like,
Goes left.
just, you know, take the fight, like, treat it as like a team fight. You know, there's more than just the Rainmaker there, and that's the reason why. Like, as soon as you don't kill the Rainmaker that one time because you guys aren't focusing any of the other guys, the Rainmaker's just free to move forward. They're positioning, the other team is positioning themselves, like I mentioned, in front of the Rainmaker, painting forward, giving them a path.
No.
Killed Alzi.
So I actually kind of don't mind using bubbles right there, just because it gives you guys complete, absolute control over mid. However, one thing to consider is that you guys are 3 up, and there's really only that one person there.
One in the bunker.
Maybe you guys didn't know it was the one person there, and that kind of reinforces the idea of using the bubbles. But the general idea of using the bubbles there is good. Is basically, okay, like, let's just get mid control back and, you know, hold mid. However, in hindsight, or just at least from what I can see, maybe you guys weren't able to see that from your point of view, there really was only that one guy there that you guys could have picked off without using the bubbles, and then use bubbles in their street, and, you know, again, a much better positioning to make a push.
Oh, Rainmaker's weak, going right.
Again, here, we don't want to just be tunneling on the Rainmaker. Think about, okay, I want to paint a path in front of the Rainmaker so they can't move forward. I want to try to team fight and take out their teammates, so again, they're alone. stuff like that. Like generally speaking, on a lot of times, unless like the Rainmaker's like literally right here, you can kind of just like ignore the Rainmaker.
Oh, what? Okay, bomb got me. They're throwing bombs from their bunker.
Bad Rainmaker.
Two in their bunker.
Pushing me.
So Luke didn't really see that guy, it seems like, and there's nowhere like call out, so the wrong guy just kind of swims right by and is able to take that Rainmaker there.
I hit him once.
Alright, so you guys go fully wiped, and let's see how you guys approach out of the base. So the first two guys out, you go the path of the Rainmaker. Like, the first two guys coming out of the spawn should always, especially when like you know they're making a push, should always go the way that the Rainmaker like makes the fastest path, which is here on the left. And so just it seems like a general kind of like I kind of want to think about, okay, where is the other team going to go? Given the situation, given that they've just wiped, they have the Rainmaker close, where are they going to go, right? Like the Rainmaker's not going to back up and go right on that situation, or your guys is right. No, they're just going to hold forward, right? So why coming out of spawn should we have two people go right when they're the first people up? You want those two people going left, trying to defend, slow them down, and then you want to have like maybe one or two people go right to try to like make sure no one's flanking, and then the flank you guys like flank yourself, or to get some different positioning, maybe some high ground, stuff like that. So really kind of, and I hope this helps this eventual video, but sometimes like just take a step back, think about, okay, what does the other team want to accomplish right now? How can I prevent that? Again, in Rainmaker, everyone thinks, oh, I'd kill the Rainmaker. And it's like, well, obviously, yes. But ultimately, it's like, okay, if I jump down and kill the Rainmaker, especially if I'm jumping into 4 people, they're probably just going to kill you right back, right? And so then it's a 3v3. Does that actually benefit you? Are you actually taking map control back? You're slowing their push, but you're not necessarily stopping it, right? So it's much better to think about, how can I stop their push? Well, I can stop their push by pinning it forward in front of them, by preventing their Rainmaker's teammates from advancing, allowing my teammates to get a flank and to take people out. Like, think about it from that way, and it makes way more sense, right? Like, you're not just killing the Rainmaker, you're killing their entire push. Alright, so I'm gonna just probably do a little bit of individual gameplay here. Again, I've been noticing your Nzap player is kind of being the most aggressive. He's typically the most far forward, so I want to see what's kind of going on here. And of course, as soon as I say that, he's still in spot. Your guys just flat like farming up clams. So one thing you can't really see from spectator view that I hope all of you guys are doing is opening up your map to see like where people are at. Really good habit to get into early on. So like right here, if I was this Nzap and I'm just like kind of going back and forth painting, I would be opening the map. It's like, okay, where are they at? Where are they at? Okay, they're over there. I can see them. Like, obviously I can see the map icons, but you can always easily tell based off of seeing what areas of the map are being painted, and then obviously you know someone's over there, right? So so you guys go 3 down and your Nzap moves forward. He eventually comes back, but like if he would have been closer to you got like, yeah, so they end up getting all the way down to 53, partially because the Nzap goes all the way to their plat, and obviously like, you know, he needs to wait for you guys to spawn first. That part's, you know, should be made clear, but by going all the way over here, he can't even like assist you guys anymore. Like, he should have just kind of sharked around in mid, waiting for you guys to spawn, waiting for a chance to make a move. Right over there. So it kind of seems like the Nzap is just being aggressive in general, but doesn't really seem to have any sort of like game, right? So let's talk about what a game plan could be, as you guys make a nice play there. I like that. That's good. A good coordination. Even if you only don't get the lead back, like it's still getting 2 power clams in together. Like, that's always good. Generally speaking, we at these deep blues don't like to make a push for clams unless we can at least get 1 power clam in, or either 2 power clams or at least 1 clam and a bunch of other clams. So anyway, going back to like game plan, right? The primary job of the aggressive frontliner is to get picks and to create openings, right? The best way to do that is to hold power positions of the map. Power positions of the map vary on where the map is at, or like what part of the map you're in, right? So if you're in mid, the power positions of the map are actually these blocks, this left and right block here, as you guys are making another good push. If the Nzap, I don't think should have dropped down right there. You could have actually, the Nzap could have painted. I wish I could zoom in more. The Nzap could have painted up here, gone up top, and thrown clams in from up above, and would have gotten 3 points. So don't always think you have to like hold forward directly to the basket. You can take some roundabout ways. You have some time to work with when the basket's open to put yourself in a safer position to score points. Okay, going back to what I was talking about earlier. You can let's try this. You can control, getting control of the left and right blocks here is actually the power positions, because if you have that, it's not safe for the other team. It's not safe for the enemy team to be down low in the middle here, and it forces them to go either to the right, left, or back, right? So that's what the Nzap should be focusing on taking. And then once you guys have that, you guys move forward as a team and take that together as a team, and then the Nzap. Well, and so that way you can help your Nzap player push up even further more, right? Climbing up this wall, climbing up here, applying pressure on their plat, stuff like that. And that's what you want to do as a team. And then once you get a pick or two, that's when you move forward as a team. Like, that's kind of like the general concept, at least on this map. And it seems like you guys don't have kind of like an understanding of what you as a team want to accomplish, right? And I would seriously like take like kind of like some time, even if it's just like in a scrim where it's just you guys, like a PvE where it's just you guys. Think about, okay, what positions of the map are really strong? How do we want to like defend those positions? At the end of the day, like Splatoon is an area of control shooter. That's ultimately the objective, and that's what Turf War is supposed to teach us, right? Like, if you control turf, you win the game. So think, even no matter what the mode is, think about what area of the map is important to control, and let's control that, right? And you guys will, just by doing that, you guys will have a lot more success, just from the fact that you're focusing more on like controlling the map rather than just like doing whatever the mode is. That's honestly part of the reason why Japan does Splat Zones so much, is because like Splat Zones covers so much of the basics that and it's a well-balanced game type overall, that it teaches everyone kind of the important aspects of the game. Supposedly this is the last game of the scrim, or at least it's game 9. I'll try to do a little bit more personal. So like a lot of the stuff has been like team, mainly because like as a team I can see some of these areas that should be worked on. In the future, like I definitely could do like personal, but I think that this game is a team.
What was that?
I accidentally pressed a key on my keyboard and unmuted. Whoops. Anyway, so this game is a team game first and foremost, right? So while having individual skills important and obviously contributes towards that, it's a team strategy standpoint that is always good to get down. Having an overall game plan, having an idea of, again, what positions in the map do we want to hold and how do we want to like move from those different positions, is really, really important. And all being on the same page as a team is really, really important, and understanding of like who's going to be going where and when and why, right? If you understand the why, the when and where and everything like that kind of falls into place. Like if I understand why my Nzap wants to move to this position, it helps me better figure out what I can do to assist my Nzap, right? So again, having that kind of discussion with the team on the different maps really helps out a lot. And I would really recommend doing that. And going back to what I was saying with the whole, like, the reason why I'm focusing on team stuff is, like, a lot of the issues that I see with you guys can be fixed with teamwork and, like, working on the team as the whole rather than, like, individual gameplay. Oh, there's 2 games left in the scrim. Okay. So, interesting start here. You guys kind of go 2 right, 2 left. That's pretty standard, I would say, on this map. That's what I do as well. You guys get a really good control here, and, like, Luke has the great idea of pushing forward, use my range safely. They can't approach me. He really should be calling out, hey, like, come help me. And, like, don't give this up, right? Like, you just took all this from them. You're pushing them all the way back. Don't give this up. Force them to fight you. Force them to use specials early to take you out before using specials on the zone, right? Because Luke just backed up for free. They're literally just like, okay, I'm just going to go here, use my specials on the zone, which is the objective, and take back the map. So, like, yeah, like, don't be afraid to push up and stay pushed up. Anyway, you guys, so the other team gets back in. They don't actually cap the zone. You guys do a good job of staying alive overall, and get the zone back right away, so that's good. And, like, again, you know, I understand striking around a little bit because there's this guy on this left. Nzap push up. Nzap's not afraid to go in and get some action, so that's good. But, like, even when he dies over here, he slowed down the other team so much that, look how, like, how many points you guys just got off of that. Like, you guys got a lot of points off of that, so don't be afraid to be aggressive. I know that zones is the objective, but you defend the objective by being, like, you want to be in between the objective and the enemy team. As I've been saying that a lot in a variety of ways. But at the end of the day, you always want to be positioned in between the objective and the enemy team, and slow the enemy team down from getting to the objective. All right. So again, there seems to be, again, there needs to be more coordination of, like, okay, we're pushing right. We're gonna push over here through the shortcut. We're gonna take over this area as a team. Instead of, okay, we're going to send 2 people all the way over here, and then we're going to send 2 people all the way over here. You guys are nowhere close enough to, like, help each other out. You kind of come up with on the fly, like, kind of, like, adapt, which is good, but, like, it's pretty clear that there's no common idea of what needs to be done, right? And it doesn't always need to be the same thing. It doesn't always need to be, okay, we're always going to send all 4 people to the right. It can be something which is like, okay, there's 3 people over here, so we're just going to avoid that. We're going to come over here on the right, take what they give us, and then move back in. Or, okay, they're literally all 4 coming right here. Screw that. We're just going to go over here and fight you from over here in a situation that's better for us. You know, always try to be flexible and fluid. But at the same time, you still want to be doing that, like, as a team. That was a pretty good game overall from you guys. You guys do, but a lot of that felt like more like misplays by the other team. Like they could have been doing things differently too to, like, kind of perform better. If you guys had pushed up, like if someone had pushed up with your Rapid Blaster Pro at the start when what was it, when Luke pushed up across their bridge and they were like, you know, Luke was kind of trapping them in their spawn. If someone had pushed up with Luke, you guys probably could have gotten 100 to KO right then and there, just by, like, slowing them down so much, forcing them to use specials early on you guys rather than, like, on the people by the zone. That would help you guys out a lot. Generally speaking, any special that is being used on the enemy side of this, like, let's say you're coming out of spawn, right? You guys just full life, you're coming out of spawn, you're painting up and you get specials. Where do you want to use that special? Do you want to use it on your side of the map? Or would you rather use it, like, by the zone or by the objective, right? Like, obviously everyone's going to say, well, I'd rather use it by the objective. But they forced me to use it in our side of the map so we could even leave our side of the map. And you go, okay, why not do the same thing to them, right? Like, push up, prevent them. If they're going to use their specials, make them use their specials early. Make it so when you fall back from their special that was used, you can fall back to the zone or to the middle of the map rather than falling back to your side of the map and letting them get map control. again, like understanding what it's like a conceptual level. Like really think about this game on a conceptual level, not just of like paint and weapons and stuff like that. More of just baseline. The objective is here. What is the best way to defend the objective by being in front of it? Stuff like that. Like thinking about things from that mindset really helps. Makes you understand what should be done. Okay. So you guys now have the ttek to kind of help your Nzap player, which I'm hoping pairs well with the aggression. What is interesting though is that you guys are kind of like split that up, but you guys get a really good start, so that's pretty good. It didn't really look like anyone was really kind of helping this ttek player here, but he was able to get like a pick onto like, he was able to run into like 2 or 3 of them and get a pick, so that's, you know, that's good, but don't always rely on that. I'm actually, besides that, I'm liking this push overall from you guys. Definitely needs to be controlling. Like Luke was up there and like dropped down and just kind of like left that area. Like especially for this first checkpoint, like just stay up here, Luke. Like zone them, push these guys off from this. Take this away from the other team. You don't want the other team to be able to sit above the tower like that. And then once you do that, then push forward in front of the tower. Because like if you guys had defended this one area, it's not even about killing that last guy, right? It's not so much that the last guy is alive, it's that the last guy was alive right here in a position where he could shoot down in the tower for free. Who cares if the last guy's alive over here? He's not doing anything. Just push him out of this area, right? So that's ultimately what leads to the end of the push for you guys as you're getting back into mid here. We're jumping in, you guys jump in on the right and then kind of split up. That's good. Obviously don't want to stay grouped up, and you want to think about what position of the map is important for us to hold. Luke getting up here is really good with the Rapid Blaster Pro. ttek wins a 1v1 fight on the right, so you guys get 2. You guys get map control back. I would have saved that armor right there because now the armor's gone and your power's still like barely moving out of mid. So I would have saved that armor for a little bit longer. You guys go 2 down. The tower, I think you guys can still hold this a little bit. Luke's doing a good job of zoning. Gets a good trade. Allows the guys, teammates to jump back in. So that was pretty good overall. I liked how that played out. Just because you guys are down in numbers doesn't always mean you need to retreat. Like, I think that was a good understanding of like, okay, they're grouped up over here. I can't, like, as long as I just shoot in this general direction, I should be safe. Good. I'm gonna trade in mid. Honestly, taking out an inkjet player is always probably like a pretty good trade because it takes a special off the board, right? Moving forward in the tower. Good here. So again, I'm pretty much sounding like a broken record at this point, but think about the ttek did good. I know there's a call out over here, so I hope the ttek isn't just like tunneling and trying to take that guy out. But what's really preventing you guys from getting past this first checkpoint is a lack of focus on like control. Thinking about what areas are important to hold. Good use of Ray. Ttek loses a 1v1. Nzap gets the cleanup, so that's good. Now it's a 2v2. You guys get that guy. Okay, so now you know there's only one guy left. You guys got 2 people in mid. Start moving a tower, and what I would do is I'd have one guy to go top right, one guy to go top left, and get in front of the tower. Right? All right. So here we go. So the Nzap or your ttek's up top right. You guys got top left. Now the only place they can be coming from is the mid right here, which they do. You get the pick. The tower goes down, but that's okay. Like you guys still have control. Someone else should could get on the tower. But unfortunately, Luke is a little bit too late. The tower climbs back up. So like, right there, if Luke or someone else had just gotten on the tower faster, you guys would have continued that push. So like, and like, it may seem like, oh, we didn't get anything out of it, but it's just that one simple mistake. You fix that, and you guys would be all the way up here right now. You would be on the second checkpoint for sure. But that right there, that whole exchange was a good example of the setup. You take control of this, you take control of the right and the left. on this map at least, the only avenue they have is to come down right through here, and this isn't the best way for them to approach. Like, you know they're either going to come from this hit or this. That's it. That's all they can do. So that's the reason why thinking about power positions and why they're called power positions is really, really important. Went to the end of the game here. Pretty good. Again, you know, we have 2 people on the tower at the end. Like, no, like send one guy top right. Like, zone them, push them back. Don't let them come to the tower for free. So, this is my, again, I think this is the last game with Scrim. My first time doing this, so I hope you guys liked it. It is kind of a little early in the morning for me, so I apologize in advance. Well, I guess not in advance because I'm doing it at the end of the video, but for any rambling or incoherent parts. And we'll be seeing this on, I guess that's basically it. So, GG's.